Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Happy holidays. And welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. And of course, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, which is brought to you by thegaminggang.com. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Wednesday, December 8th, 2021. This is live stream 727. This is your first time joining me. Let me point out, just super casual around here. We're just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then we take a peek at a tabletop game. Tonight, I'm going to take a first look and page through Deep Magic for 5th edition from Kobold Press. This is a pretty hefty tome. So we are going to dive in and take a peek at this in just a bit. But do want to mention that first off, we always dive into the tabletop gaming news. So if you are hanging out, you want to check out Deep Magic and you're watching live, it'll be about 30 minutes and we will be jumping on into Deep Magic. If you're watching after the fact, 30 minutes or more after the stream ends, there are timestamps. So if you want to jump ahead, you can. It's okay. Although I got some pretty cool tabletop gaming news tonight, so you may not want to jump ahead. Keep in mind, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. I'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of Pan Am from Funko Games. Finally got a chance to play our third game of Pan Am, so I am ready to review it. Because if you are not overly familiar with the Gaming Gang, I play a board game. The gang and I will play something at least 3 times before giving it a review, because it's not unusual that the first time we actually play something, we play it wrong. But interestingly enough, first time we played Pan Am, we didn't. Even though I would say the rule book needs a little tweak here or there to make it a little more intuitive. Anyway, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. Chat's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you're watching live and you want to say howdy, be sure to chime in. If you've got a question, a comment, fire away. I will do my best to respond. Do want to point out that you must be a subscriber to the channel and have been a subscriber for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Another way that I try to keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. Guess that's a nice way of saying it, right? So far, Disavowed92 is with us in chat. So is John Vogel. Welcome aboard, gents. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Let's hope we get a good chat rocking and rolling. Do want to mention, after I finish up with the news, I'm going to talk a little bit about the 50/50 auction that's going to kick off on Saturday in order to support Extra Life for Kids. And I'll talk a little bit about that. I was going to do like some of it live on Saturday. That is not going to be the case. There's some things going on that need my attention. Otherwise, they won't get done, or they won't get done right, I guess we'll say. So let's dive on into the news, because now available from Osprey Games is the Wars of the Republic, Ancient Roman Wargaming, 343 to 350 BC. And here's the details. This is a set of wargaming rules covering the wars of Republican Rome, from the First Samnite War to the end of the Gallic Wars, from the First Samnite War and the eventual conquest of the Italian peninsula to the defeat by Hannibal at Lake Trasimene, and final victory over the Gauls at Alesia. Wars of the Republic is a miniature war game designed to recreate the battles and conflicts of the Roman Republic, focusing on the role of ancient commanders and their influence upon the battlefield. Wars of the Republic also contains historical scenarios, rules for player-driven campaigns, and multiple army lists that reflect the changing nature of the Roman military and the varied opponents it faced, be they Gaul, Italian, Carthaginian, Iberian, or Greek. This book allows you to campaign with the legions or stand firm against Roman expansion, containing all the rules required to fight battles throughout the ancient Mediterranean. This book contains everything you need to fight battles during this period, including multiple army lists to reflect the changing nature of the Roman military and the varied opponents it faced. Once again, be they Gaul, Italian, Carthaginian, Iberian, or Greek. Right now, you can score the soft cover for an MSRP of $20, which I honestly think is a bit lower than we normally see the miniatures rule books from Osprey Games. Or you can grab the PDF for $18. $20 for a physical book, $18 for the digital edition. I think I would go for the physical book, but of course, that also means you're paying for shipping too. But $2 difference between the physical book and the PDF? Kind of odd. Flaming Huron's joined us in chat. Good to see a Flaming Huron. He is one of our chat moderators. So if anybody gets out of hand, he can drop the ban hammer. Boom. Our other chat moderator is not going to be with us. The Motor City Madman. Yes, the Madman up in the Detroit area. It's gaming night every other Wednesday. I always remember that. Plus, he always kind of mentions it in chats because he's hanging out a lot. So good to have one of our chat moderators hanging with us as well. Moving right along. So Flaming Huron says, about to say, us people in the far reaches of the earth, the shipping costs more than the product. That is true. Yeah, people who live in, say, I don't know, Australia, seem to really get stuck seriously hard on shipping. That sucks. It really does. Although I have to admit, there have been a couple of times that I was tempted to order something from the UK, and then I was like, ooh, that shipping. Oh, no. Moving on to our next news piece. The Black Site Studios horror miniatures game, Don't Look Back, is now being distributed by Modiphius Entertainment. And here's what I know. Today, we're delighted to announce the release of Don't Look Back from Black Site Studios, a solo or co-op minis game based on classic horror and slasher movies, where you control a mix of 4 heroes and heroines against a randomly generated killer AI. We only have limited stock of this marvelous minis game at Modiphius, shipping from the Rest of the World store, so take advantage while you can. Written by Matthew Burns and published by Black Site Studios. Don't Look Back is a solo or cooperative tabletop miniatures game where you create a cinematic experience in a world of suspense and terror. Players control 4 heroes against a randomly generated AI killer on a 3 foot by 3 foot playing surface. Designed to be played in under an hour, this simple tabletop experience is perfect to play with friends or family. Or serial killers and murderers, I suppose. Fans of horror cinema will love recreating their favorite cinematic gore fests in this fast paced and easy to learn game. Don't Look Back is for 1 to 4 players, although you have to laugh. I think Board Game Geek lists this as for 1 to 6 players, but you're only playing 4 heroes, and the killer is AI controlled. So how is it 6 players? It's like, don't always believe what you see as far as specs on Board Game Geek. I hope a lot of people out there realize that. Anyway, Don't Look Back is for ages 14 and up, plays in, once again, around an hour, and does carry an MSRP of $68. Also available are a variety of expansions. I'm showing a couple of them here. They include Attack of the Greys, Dark Hearts, and Final Girls. I think all in all, I think there's 6 expansions, which essentially give you more miniatures. This could be very interesting, but I have to say, $68 sounds really pricey for what you're getting. Now, I understand this kickstarted, and they actually even had a house, like a little house that came with it that you could add on. I don't think it's card stock, but I don't think it's resin or metal or anything like that. That doesn't come with this. Basically, what you're getting the rules, some dice, and 7 minis. I think it's 7. I was like, huh. All right. But I did want to share the news piece because I know there are people out there who were pretty interested in this, because I do know that the Kickstarter was pretty popular. Speaking of Kickstarters, slated for a first quarter 2022 release from Flying Pig Games is The Long Road. And here's the skinny from my pal, Mark H. Walker. This is 1985. This is World War III. But this is not your typical World War III. There are many accurate to the underwear brand World War III games to choose from, and the ones that I've played are quite good. This, however, is not one of them. Although the Long Road flirts with reality, it's not ready to move in and live with it. This game has a twist. From the moment I designed World at War, Eisenbach Gap, I envisioned a war that was something else, a war that was predicated, I almost said predicted, a war that was predicated by something other than oil or warm water ports or ill-defined land grabs. A war instigated by powers without geographical affiliation, powers unknown to us. The agents of those powers might be nothing more than a special ops team of mysterious origin sent to assassinate a world leader. Nothing more than a militia ambushing foreigners, raping their mother country. Nothing other than normal. Then again, they might be other than normal, or by definition, paranormal. So that's the twist. A war game with paranormal elements. Make no mistake, I've strived to make this an accessible yet accurate war game. Included is everything from advanced sights, multispectral smoke, artillery-delivered minefields, to electronic countermeasures, anti-tank guided missiles, attack helicopters, and the man-portable air defense systems required to bring them down. You'll command the weapons of the time. Abrams tanks, T-80 tanks, M60A3s, T-64Bs, and Sheridan tanks. Bradleys, I think it's M11-3s is how they used to call them. Maybe they're M11-3s? No, 113s. I forget. It's been a long time since I've messed around with Cold war games. BMPs, infantry, and more. But of course, war isn't won by equipment. War is won by soldiers. In the long road, soldiers' training and morale is integral to the game, integral combat resolution. But even more important than the rank and file grunts are the heroes, the men and women who can turn the tide of battle. We've included them too. People like Mike Hudson, Colonel Adric Alexandrov Shabalin, Shamalama Ding Dong, Tank Commander Sergeant Matt Dahl, and Commissar Colonel Elena Petrova. Heroic humans, but humans nonetheless. But there's something more, some things that are not humans nonetheless. Demons that summon electrical storms, rendering advanced weaponry nearly useless. Lycan clans that fight with assault rifles, RPDs, and RPGs, as well as the fang and claw of their elders. A witch with an agenda, plus the powerful spells to make it happen. And of course, Katerina Ubarek, an immoral Romanian vampire worth dozens of inexperienced soldiers in combat. You know those things that you read about, watch in movies, heard about on horror podcasts? Well, in the long road, they're real. But not every scenario contains nightmares. Sometimes you'll fight with, against, in spite of these paranormal beings. Yet often your battle will be about nothing more than depleted uranium rounds, reactive armor, maneuver, and massed fires. In fact, we include a separate scenario book in the game titled Long Road Tactics that includes nothing but historical, for a lack of a better word, scenarios. So that's the long road. Part military horror, part authentic recreation of World War III, but all fun. And we hope you enjoy it. The long road is for 2 players, ages 14 and up. Playtime varies by scenario, of course. Right now, you can jump on board with a pre-order price of $90, and the game will carry an MSRP of $100. So my understanding is that these should be in port right about New Year's. So I believe that was the case. But of course, then it's got to clear customs, all these other things. I know originally this was slated for I think it was supposed to be a summer release this year. But, you know, we know how it is. So, have to point out that I reviewed, what was it, Nuclear Winter 68, which was a game that now I want to say, if I remember off the top of my head, I think that was Lock and Load. I don't recall that being Flying Pig Games. I think it goes a little further back. But Mark H. Walker does some pretty cool, I don't want to say oddball, because oddball kind of denotes something negative, and I don't mean it like that. But he does do some really unusual sort of war games that aren't just the typical, well, let's fight zombies kind of thing, right? Even though there is a spoiler, I am sharing, I think it's the image that's popping up right now of zombies. So you have zombie counters. So you're going to fight zombies, obviously enough, in this as well. But this could be pretty cool. I know I talked about this a while back when the Kickstarter was around, but at least now we've got a better idea of when it should be available, and you can pre-order it right now as well. So let's move on to some role-playing game news, because there's a new bundle of holding, which kicked off on Monday, and it features Forged in the Dark independent role-playing games. Here's the scoop. Adventura! This new Forged in the Dark bundle presents recent standalone tabletop role-playing games that use the Forged in the Dark rule system based on John Harper's Blades in the Dark from 1-7 Design Studio. These new and inventive RPGs take a wide range of approaches to adapt the fast-playing, suspenseful Blades rules to plainer fantasy, cyberpunk, paranormal investigation, modern deep South noir, magical girl anime, and more. For just $9.95, you get all 5 complete games and scenarios in the starter collection, which have a retail value of $54.50 as DRM free PDFs, including the dungeon delving adventure Into the Dark, the fairy tale melodrama Aaron Deed's Tall Tales in the Blackwood, the minimalist 2 pamphlet cyberpunk adaptation CBR plus PNK cyberpunk. Get it? And it's ready to play scenario, Mind the Gap. And yes, once again, we include John Harper's Blades in the Dark core rulebook itself, previously in last December's Blades in the Dark bundle, along with 4 unofficial Blades playbooks. If you pay more than the threshold price currently of $35.04, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection with 6 recent standalone games and supplements worth an additional $95, including Mythic Gazetteer's brand new RPG of paranormal investigation and office politics, External Containment Bureau, which we have a review of at the Gaming Gang. That's right, Sammy Uhas reviewed it and liked it. Also included is Bandit Camp's Wicked Ones. We were just talking about Bandit Camp either yesterday or on Monday. It is a tabletop answer to the Dungeon Keeper and War for the Overworld computer games. SIG, City of Blades, from Genesis of Legend Publishing, a standalone forged recasting of the spiritual successor to Planescape, SIG, Manual of the Plains. There's Copperhead County, about crime and corruption in Tennessee. Some strange reason, I think I've done a news piece about that. And Disaster Peace, a magical girl role-playing game from a couple of Drakes. These savings will run through December 27th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to this offer's pandemic-related charity, Direct Relief. Ta-da! There's Cyberpunk. Cool. I gotta say, this is a pretty interesting bundle. And if you like the Blades in the Dark system, which I'll be completely honest, I am absolutely clueless about. I for some reason, I thought Blades in the Dark owes at least a little bit of a tip of the cap to Powered by the Apocalypse. Now, I could be completely wrong. I'm not saying it's a Powered by the Apocalypse game, but I think it drew some inspiration from it. But this is a cool bundle. This is a very nice bundle. Also should mention, talking about bundles, although I'm not going to do a news piece on it, because we have seen a lot of bundles featuring this role-playing game. But currently over at Humble Bundle, there's a bundle of Cyberpunk 2020 that's available for some really sweet deals. And I think that just launched. I think that was on Monday or Tuesday too. So quite a while back, there was, I shouldn't say quite a while. It wasn't that far back. There was, I think it was on Bundle of Holding. They did a Cyberpunk 2020. So the reason why I'm not going to do a news piece is, in my opinion, and I like Cyberpunk Red. I think it's really well done. We've got reviews of that. And of course, that's from our Talsorian Games. To me, I don't think Cyberpunk 2020 has aged well, especially some of its representation of women. So it's kind of one of the reasons why I'm not doing a news piece about it. Plus, I've covered the bundles they've had for it previously. So it's like, what, every month I'm supposed to say, hey, there's a bundle for Cyberpunk 2020. Omanal has joined us in chat. Omanal says, John Harper always references Powered by the Apocalypse. There we go. Okay. So, and Omanal also pointed out that he believes it's M113s. Yeah, I think you're right. Very, very cool. So Flaming Heron says that they come to me because at least they know I do some research. A little bit. Yeah, you know, what can I tell you? All right, one more news piece before we wrap up. Now available in PDF for Warhammer 40K Roleplay Wrath and Glory from my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment is Affliction Ascendant. Here's the dope. The battle for Torah Armis ends here. Deep beneath the hive spire of Torah Armis, the Absolver's Space Marine chapter dispatches a squad of Maris battle brothers to finally purge all traces of chaos. They know they're chasing the Chaos Lord Putridine Koparis, but breaching an ancient tomb reveals a still mightier foe, the great unclean one, Buthuthrax Clostidia. I'm sure I am mispronouncing these, and the Games Workshop fans out there are blowing their tops. Anyway, the Great Unclean One, newly released from its prison beneath the spire, faced with 3 objectives: stopping Koparis, conclusively defeating a millennia-old foe, and saving Torah Armis. The agents must decide what they'll sacrifice in the name of duty. As well as the challenging conclusion to the battlefield adventures, Affliction Ascendant includes a new character archetype, the first company veteran, and represents the most capable and experienced of Space Marines, those with the right to don mighty Terminator armor. This adventure is designed for 2 to 3 sessions of play. The 25-page adventure PDF is available right now at DriveThruRPG for $4.99. My pals over at Cubicle 7 have really been cranking out a lot of cool content as of late. So has our friends over at Free League Publishing as well, as I am reloading my Diet Coke. Oh, I should say my zero sugar Coca-Cola. Nobody wants to call their soda diet anymore. I do not know why. Everything's got to be zero sugar. God forbid, nobody's fat anymore either. I'm fat. It's like, come on. Thankfully, I'm not obese, but I'm the first one to say, hey, yeah, I'm fat. I need to lose weight. I don't beat myself up over it, but, you know, this whole, every time you turn around, every commercial's got, you know, if there's 4 people in it, 2 of them are fat. I know, I'm old school. What can I tell you? I don't mind. I don't have an issue with body positivity, but I do have an issue with fooling yourself into thinking, well, I'm 50 pounds overweight, but I'm still healthy. Anyway, I know everybody's out there going, where the hell did that come from? I don't know. It just came out top of my head. So, Omnal says, for Blades in the Dark, they like the system. They do wish they included Band of Blades and Scum and Villainy to get more people into the system. Well, yeah, that is too bad, because I have heard of both of those as well. Once again, it's just a system I haven't gotten into. I've never had an opportunity to take a peek at. It's, you know, there's a lot of role-playing games out there that are like that. So we are going to be taking a look at Deep Magic for 5e, just a couple of minutes. But I did want to point out that I've been talking this week and last week that I'm going to do a 50-50 auction. And I was going to do some of it live. I was going to share the games in that live on Saturday. And I'm not going to be doing that. I am going to do the auction. It's going to kick off on Saturday. But there are a couple of things that I need to take care of. I need to address, and if I don't take care of it, no one else is going to do it. So, so I am not going to be doing that, but I'm still going to do the 50-50 auction. So to explain what it is, since I won't have another show until Monday and the auction will be going, is that essentially I'm going to list, I'm hopefully going to have about 100 games that I'm going to have up for auction. I will have photos of them. I'll have a post on thegaminggang.com. I will also create a little banner that you can click on that's going to take you to that page. And essentially, I'm going to have all these different games available for auction. And once again, it is a charity event. So half of what comes in, as far as the bids, is going to go to Extra Life for Kids. And the hospital that I support is the Anne and, gosh, now I forgot it's, is it Robert? Yeah, it's Anne and Robert H. Laurie. Cracking up. I swear when we did the like 12-hour, twice we did the 12-hour thing, I must have said Anne and Robert H. Laurie Children's Hospital of Chicago like 50 times each of those days. Starting to say it in my sleep. Anne and Robert H. Laurie Children's Hospital. So yes, so that's what I do. Anyway, I want to point out that essentially what I'm going to take is the MSRP of the game, or if it's out of print and it's something that I see pretty, pricey in the secondary market, it'll be around what it usually goes for auction. But for most of the stuff, I'm just going to take the MSRP and slash it in half. That's it. So if you're interested, all you need to do is you're going to comment on that post of what you're interested in and what your bid is. And then I'm going to run it from Saturday through Saturday. And I will reach out to those who have winning bids. And then essentially what we'll do is figure out what the shipping is, what kind of shipping you want to utilize. I will get it out. So it'll go out the week of Christmas, or week. Yeah, because isn't Christmas on a Saturday this year? See how much I pay attention to these things? It's just all one long day. All year long is just one day and a never ending day. No, not really. Anyway, so I will get stuff out that week of Christmas. It's probably very unlikely you'd get it by Christmas. So Omenal says some of those giant bundles only have one or two titles that they want, like that Black Friday one. Yeah, that's the one. That's one that's running over on Humble Bundle. So, and only Dungeon Crawl Classics interests them. I like DCC. I think it's. I talked about this the other night. Really wish Goodman Games was a little different in their approach towards reviewers and that. I mean, they're like gung ho at like getting people to run Dungeon Crawl Classics at their local game store, but it's like if you're a reviewer, nah, they want nothing to do with you. It's sort of like, really, because the person running the game in a game store is maybe going to expose 10 people to your game. Reviewers can expose a lot more people. I don't know. I mean, when their new PR person got back to me, she was super nice. But yeah, it's like, okay. So Sarah D has joined us as well. 245 Trioxins with us. Helga Ratbone is in chat with us as well. Sorry, I haven't said hello to you folks earlier. Let's see. Sarah says, yes, Christmas is on a Saturday. Check on your mail carrier the following Monday. It will not be okay. Yeah, I'm sure. Our mail woman is very nice. It's very cool. In fact, when I've done previous auctions, what I normally will do is I have a cart So I load up the cart, and then I kind of have it out in front of the garage so that she can just back up the mail truck and load it up super easy. Yes, yes, yes. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. I already showed you I've got Twilight 2000 4th edition, new and shrink. I have a copy of Help Arrives that I did a first look at. It's the Spanish Civil War game. I've got a brand new copy of that in shrink. So not everything is going to be used that I've reviewed. Also want to keep in mind, all this stuff is coming from a like non-smoking locale. So you don't have to worry about that. Anyway, keep your eyes peeled if you're interested. Take a peek. Also, should point out you should follow the Gaming Gang on Twitter. I always, tweet things out about what's cooking. And it's at thegaminggang.com. Also, I was talking about DriveThruRPG earlier. Keep in mind that the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of the banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee or some soda, Yum, 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 yum. If you like what I do, if you like the videos, if you like this channel, if you like the website, you can always swing by, like I said, buy me a cup of coffee or some soda by going to paypal.me/thegaminggang. And thankfully, there are people out there who use those banner ads and swing on over to paypal.me. And it is certainly appreciated. Thank you very much. If you are not overly familiar with the Gaming Gang, you know I do not run Kickstarters to keep me around. I am one of the only outlets out there who does not do that. So, Omanal says, hey, Orthodox Christmas comes a couple weeks later than Saturday Christmas. Well, not this Saturday, but all right. So tonight, I am going to take a first look at Deep Magic for 5th edition D&D. This is from Kobold Press. This 356-page hardcover and PDF together can be had for $49.99 over at the Kobold Press website. Or you can grab the PDF alone at the aforementioned DriveThruRPG for $29.99. Let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Deep Magic. Few things before we jump on in. I'm going to stay picture in picture, so I'm going to be cutting off the upper left corner of the book. We're not going to look over each and every page, 356 pages. And I'm going to kind of jump through it. I just want to give everybody a good feel, good idea of what's contained in this book. Of course, I have not cracked this open, so this really is a first look for me too. I have not checked out this book yet. Do you understand it's a bunch of magic spells? So let's take a look at the back. I'm not going to read all of the text on the back here, but we'll give you an idea. It says, command 700 new spells for 5th edition. No matter how you slice it, magic is at the heart of fantasy, and nothing says magic like a massive tome of spells. This tome collects, updates, tweaks, and expands spells from years of the Deep Magic 4 5th edition series, more than 700 new and revised spells. And it adds a lot more. 19 divine domains from beer to mountain and speed to winter. 13 new wizard specialties, such as the Elementalist and the Timekeeper. 6 new sorceress origins, including the Aristocrat. Aristocrat. Yeah. And the Farseer. 3 other worldly patrons for warlocks, including the Sybil, expanded treatments of familiars and other wizardly servants, and much more. But wait, that's not all. Clint Gibson's joined us in chat. Good to see you, Clint. Let's jump on in. I believe that Deep Magic is a series that Kobold Press releases sort of along the lines of like their Warlock, where I think Warlock might be monthly or every other month. So Deep Magic, I don't think, is released as often as Warlock is, but there's a whole series of Deep Magic books. So I'm assuming, and you know what assuming does. If you ever watch Sanford and Son, you know. I'm assuming that a lot of this is actually from those releases. There is Deep Magic available for Pathfinder, but that is, I think, first edition Pathfinder. So here we've got a list of all of the spells here. And these spells aren't only for magic users. There are spells as well for, I believe, rangers and paladins as well. So we start getting into our spell descriptions. One thing I'll point out that I have noticed, and of course, obviously enough, I have not looked at everything from Kobold Press. I've only actually had an opportunity to share a few things so far. I think this is the fourth book, if I remember correctly. It's the fourth book we've taken a peek at from Kobold Press. They always have some really good artwork. Even the releases that are just black and white line art, really nicely done. So yes, so these are all spell descriptions in here. So let's take a look at one just for an example. So we got Black Sunshine. Was that like a Larry David spell? So it is an 8th level illusion. Casting time, range, components, duration. You hold up a flawed pearl and it disappears, leaving behind a magic orb in your hand that pulses with dim purple light. Allies that you designate become invisible if they're within 60 feet of you, and if light from the orb can reach the space they occupy. An invisible creature still casts a faint purple shadow. The orb can be used as a thrown weapon to attack an enemy. On a hit, the orb explodes in a flash of light and the spell ends. The targeted enemy and each creature within 10 feet of it must make a successful dexterity saving throw or be blinded for a minute. A creature blinded in this way repeats the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. I'm surprised it doesn't also do damage. You know how some creatures can be damaged by light damage. I forget what technical term for it is. I know people get mad at me. They're like, "You don't know this about Dungeons and Dragons?" And it's like, well, I know it, but I may not know the term for it because Dungeons and Dragons is not the only role-playing game that I cover. Isn't it luminous damage? Isn't that what it's called? For some reason I want to say it's luminous damage, but maybe I'm cracking up. Omanel says, never like concentration spells for durations when they are such a high level. I can understand that. 245 tracks and says, I just bought the pocket edition earlier today. Is it of this? So did you buy the pocket edition of this or something else? Because I know I'm missing out on some stuff as far as, chat. There's a lot of times radiant damage. Thank you, 245. That's it. Yes, it's radiant damage. I'm surprised it doesn't do that. So yes, 245 tracks and says, yes, the pocket edition of this. Cool. Very cool. Just jumping ahead through some more stuff. Conjure Fey Hound. 5th level conjuration spell. You summon a Fey Hound to fight by your side. Hound of the Night from Tome of Beasts, page 251. So I guess you better have Tome of Beasts. Appears in an unoccupied space where you can see within range. The hound disappears when it drops to 0 hit points or when the spell ends. The summoned hound is friendly to you and your companions. Roll initiative for the summoned hound, which has its own turns. It obeys any verbal commands that you issue to it. No action required by you. If you don't issue any commands to the hound, it stands by your side and attacks nearby creatures that are hostile to you, but otherwise takes no action. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 7th level or higher, you summon 2 hounds. When you cast a spell using a 9th level spell slot, you summon 3 hounds. Cesar Gajardo, hopefully I'm close on that pronunciation, has joined us. So there's some character options in that book too. Check out the Beard Domain Cleric. I think that's towards the end of the book, isn't it? Let's see what the index shows us. Maybe. I don't know. Yes, I thought that was kind of funny. So as Cesar points out, we saw that as we were taking a peek at the text on the back, the beard domain. It's like, okay. Kind of just jumping on through here. Some more of the artwork. This doesn't seem to be as art heavy as some of the other Kobold Press books, which is fine. I think for the most part, when you're picking up a book that's like, magic spells and things like that, you want the spells. You don't necessarily need all the artwork. So Cesar says it's page 125. So here we go. There are the divine domains. So we have the beard domain, disciple of the draft. When you choose this domain at first level, you learn the Eldritch Blast cantrip described in this book. You also gain proficiency in either insight or medicine, your choice, and you gain proficiency with brewer's supplies. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses those supplies. So you can channel the divinity Blessed Brew. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your channel divinity to transform a container of non-magical liquid into Blessed Brew. Or we could say Blessed Brew. So it gives advantage on charisma-based checks, a +1 bonus to armor class, +1 increase to the DC of saving throws against their castings of enchantment spells. Aha. We've got the cat domain, darkness domain, dragon domain, hunger domain, hunting domain, justice domain, labyrinth domain, moon domain, mountain domain, ocean prophecy, speed, and time. We also have travel domain, winter domain. Then we have druid circles. So it turns out it's not just all spells. But we do have the spells broken down by, I believe it's types of magic. We've got the alchemancy magic. I don't believe there are magic items in this, though. I think it's all essentially focused on spells as well as the spellcasters. So chaos magic. Dragon magic. So as an example, one of the spells for dragon magic is Claim Lair. By placing your personal wealth within an area and invoking. I need a sip. Invoking the dragon's territorial nature, you claim the area as your lair, imbuing you with extra power within its confines. Sweet. hieroglyph magic. If you are familiar with the Kobold Press Midgard setting, these types of magic, these schools of magic, these types of magic are all present in Midgard, if memory serves. Because I reviewed the Midgard setting book, which I thought was very, very cool. Gave it a 10 out of 10. I liked it that much. So we got the Wizard's Entourage. So we've got apprentices. All right, so we do have some magic items. There we go. Nice. So we got some NPCs, magical constructs, oddities for every occasion. There's quite a lot to this. Here, I honestly thought this was just going to be a big book of magic spells. So we've got clockwork magic. So we're in our appendix A. Labyrinth magic, dark magic. More spells here as well. Blood magic. Fiendish magic. So we got some void magic here. Wow, this is packed. One thing, and I mention this all the time, one thing that players of fantasy role-playing games can never get enough of are magic spells. Omanel says, Kobold Press really fills in gaps that you would think the Wizards of the Coast would focus on. I say it time and time again, Wizards of the Coast is not of major concern to Hasbro. They never have been, never will be. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. It's the way it's going to be. I know for us, Grimoires of the Cthulhu Mythos. Nice. That's cool. That actually has the Mythos actually play a role in Midgard as well. So anyway, so that is Deep Magic. I will have a review of Deep Magic in the near future. But I got to say, it's pretty impressive. Lots of goodies in here. And as I started to say, that's one thing that players just can never get enough of is magic spells. Excellent. All right. So once again, this 356-page hardcover and PDF together can be had for $49.99 at the Kobold Press website. You can grab the PDF alone at DriveThruRPG for $29.99. Off the top of my head, I don't know how much the pocket edition of Deep Magic might happen to be. So 245 Trioxin can chime in and let us know. Swing on over to the other camera. Anyway, as I was saying about Hasbro, and it's just a massive company. It's a huge company. They do billions of dollars in profit every year. And Wizards of the Coast is just not a priority. And unfortunately, a lot of people who enjoy our hobby don't realize just how small this hobby really is. It's a niche hobby. And I know, yes, all these people play D&D. Yeah, a lot of people play D&D. A vast majority more do not. So they may have heard of it, but they don't play. So a lot of times people are really surprised how, wow, I can't believe Wizards of the Coast only employs like 10 people full time who work on D&D. Yeah. Last I heard, I think it was 12. Now that Hasbro wants more content out there, which, oh my gosh, let's hope it's not like Strixhaven. They might up that, but maybe not. Because it's a lot of stuff is just all freelance. But yeah, a lot of people are like, wow, I can't believe that, Wizards of the Coast doesn't release new D&D stuff each and every month, like, say, Paizo. I'd say they just don't. They don't have the manpower. Not to say that Paizo has a much larger staff, because they really don't. I got to be honest. I don't know how many people that Eric Mona and the Paizo team employ. I'd say probably 15 who are like kind of full time. Everybody else is, of course, going to be freelancers. But the thing is, Paizo, that's what Paizo does. Paizo does Pathfinder, Starfinder. Of course, their focus is going to be on releasing content as often as they possibly can. Now, of course, just like everything else, sometimes some of their stuff feels a little rushed or, not all that great. But sometimes some stuff's really good. But that's their focus. Hasbro's focus is not Wizards of the Coast. As Caesar just said, people buy Transformers, they buy Star Wars stuff. Yeah. I think, what was it? The last time I heard like actual numbers from Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast made up like 1% of their, not profit, it was their overall sales. It is pretty profitable, but as far as, overhead and things like that, of course. So it's more profitable, return on investment, I guess we'll say, than some toys and toy lines and things like that. But as far as the amount of cash that Hasbro brings in off of Magic and D&D, and in some respects, Avalon Hill stuff, not a lot. Roll for Combat has popped in. Says Paizo has nearly 100 people full time. Nice. I know that they've got offices in Redmond, Washington, because I've driven past. In fact, they're right there by Wizards of the Coast. It's kind of funny. Clint says it's still a mind twister that Hasbro lets WizKids make D&D miniatures. Aren't you a toy company too? Yeah. I can understand why Hasbro doesn't do it. I'm surprised that they haven't opened a branch to like kind of coincide with Wizards and that does minis, plastic minis. But yeah, I could see, because tooling stuff for a big lineup of toys and that, all the tooling of the molds and stuff like that is really expensive. So Hasbro probably figures, well, if we can't sell 1 million of these 32, 38 millimeter figures, just isn't worth the hassle. Clint says Avalon Hill just re-released Hero Quest. I never played Hero Quest. Elliot had it, I remember, when we were in high school, but I think he was missing some pieces from it even back then. I never played it. I had never played it. And it was kind of funny because I did an interview for, oh no, I'm sorry, that's Hero Escape. It's a different game. Was that Milton Bradley did that? I know everything's just Hasbro now. All those toy companies are gone. Parker Brothers, who? Who the hell are they? All right, so that's it for tonight's show. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out and having some fun. Clint says they were 9 when Hero Quest came out. I don't know when it came out. I got to be honest. I don't know. I would say it probably came out 3 or 4 years before I saw it at Elliot's house. That'd be my guess. I don't know. Like I said, I've never played it. I was tempted to buy it when Hasbro was doing their pre-order thing. Their not oh wow, 1988. Okay, so I was out of high school then. He must have had something else that was missing pieces. I don't know. Kind of weird. Anyway, all right. So, those of you out there who watch live, thank you very much. Always appreciate you hanging out with me. If you took part in chat, that way I don't feel like a complete dope just talking into a camera. The cat's thinking I'm insane. But I know a lot of people out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. However you watch, if it's live or on Memorex, thank you very, very kindly. It is much appreciated. Also, be appreciated if you like this video, if you give it a quick thumbs up, if you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Gaming Gang Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of Pan Am from Funko Games. And I'll give you a hint. We liked it. Liked it better than most Funko games. That's it should mean something. Have to check out the review to find out why. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Everybody enjoy the rest of the week. Remember, Saturday I will be posting the 50/50 auction to benefit Extra Life for Kids and the Ann and Robert H. Laurie Children's Hospital of Chicago. And there's going to be a lot of goodies. Lots of goodies to choose from. And of course, enjoy the weekend as well. I will be back on Monday. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure what we're going to do on Monday. Don't know what we're going to look at yet. All depends. Sometimes things show up out of the blue that I'm not aware of. But we'll find out. We'll see. Anyway, everybody, once again, happy holidays. Hope your holiday season is going very, very well. And of course, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. See you Monday. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel? Or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch? Or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel? And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.